Alright guys, welcome back to the box office, guys. Just been out of the game for a little bit, taking care of life, but we're back at it. We're here at the sportsbook, and it is going to be a great weekend of action, a great weekend for sports betting and well, boxing betting, that is. And I just want to give you guys some insight, kind of last minute tips for the Triple G fight that he does fight today on the Zone. And Canelo fights the following day on the Zone as well. Both interesting matchups. Kind of seems like Triple G is chasing a Canelo fight. Maybe if they won't both win by knockout, they'll set that up maybe for sometime next year. Canelo has said many times that he is looking to unify the super middleweight. So we'll see where the road takes us in the near future. But for now, we got money to make, right? Remember 1-800-GAMBLING if you do have a sports gambling problem. We are just being advisors, having some fun, being a part of that action. With that being said, Triple G. Let's get Triple G out here. Triple G is fighting a little known fighter in Sermeta. Now, little known, the reason we say that he is undefeated, no one's giving this guy, my man, a shot. So it's one of those things where he's kind of expected to knock the guy out. So much so that Vegas has him winning by knockout. Now, we all understand, knockouts are hard to get, but they do consider this a favorable matchup for Canelo. I'll put it this way. Canelo is to win by knockout at a -600. What that means is you're going to bet $600 to win $100 back if Canelo wins by knockout. So, let me pose the question. Is betting $600 in a fight that he might not knock the guy out really a smart bet? I say no. Too much money. I mean, it's basically a lock that Triple G will win. Unfortunately, this is a big time mismatch, but in the sport of boxing, anything is possible, and that's why we love watching the sport, because of that unpredictability. One punch can change your life. One punch can change your career. And if that punch lands on Triple G, which Sermenta does throw a looping left hook trying to catch people, it could pose a problem for Triple G if he has gotten old from one fight to another. That's always the question that we're going to ask ourselves. How long has Triple G been in the game? Has it been too long? Keep in mind, he's still projected to win. No one believes that Sermeta is the guy to, even if Triple G was over the hill, they still think an old Triple G would be able to get and beat a Sermenta. Now, as I mentioned, a -600 for Triple G to win by KO. Most people don't see it going to decision. Vegas doesn't see it going to the decision because they are willing to say, you put $100 down. If Triple G wins by decision, split, majority, unanimous, we'll give you $450 or $425 back. Okay, so 100, Triple G wins by decision. They're going to take your money because they feel like he's going to win by knockout. Now, I feel the same way too. I do feel like Triple G is chasing a Canelo fight, is chasing another payday. The thing with me is Triple G had a hard time with a Derevchenko. Now, Derevchenko is a naturally bigger guy, not necessarily height-wise, but he's just physical, a strong guy. Now, Sermenta, he is undefeated, doesn't have a lot of knockouts under his belt. He does feel like he does have power, which he does. A lot of these fights, close fights, if they're 4-rounders, 6-rounders, it's really hard to get guys out of there within the time frame. But still, he doesn't have amazing power as far as on paper looks. That left hook, that hand, the sneaky left hand, I mean, if it lands, but Triple G has shown time and time again that it's going to take more than one punch to get him out of there. So, let's start talking smart bets. So, the over-under for this fight is 5.5 rounds. Do we think then Sermenta can last more than 5 rounds? Sermenta is undefeated, so that's something to consider. You also have to consider that he does have he does have power. He's actually offended when people tell him, you don't have power. But let's face the facts. If you look at it on paper, He has 21 wins, 5 of them coming by knockout. He has 0 losses. He's 5'9". He is a middleweight. He is 31 years old. So, 12-round fight. This is his second fight in the States. His last fight, he got a TKO win over Oscar Cortez. Now, this is an interesting matchup because, let's say out of his he has 5 knockouts in his career. 1, 2, 3. He has 3 knockouts in 6 fights. So in his last 6 fights, he's gotten 3 knockouts. So he is coming into his own. And may I add, those knockouts started coming out when he had 12-round fights. The decision came in against Edwin Palacios in the 8-rounder. All right, then he got Oscar Cortez in 2 rounds, and now he's with Triple G. Keep in mind, on paper it doesn't look like much, but he has been stopping his opponents lately. Is it going to be enough for Triple G? Personally, I think not. Anything can happen, but I personally believe Triple G should be able to handle anything this guy throws at him. Now, as far as the over/under 5.5 rounds, that's where the real bet is going to lie. You don't bet on who's going to win on this one. Honestly, unless you feel like Triple G is going to lose or get upset, you bet for the other guy. You bet for Sermenta. But if you are a Triple G fan, you know he's going to win. You don't bet for him to win. He is at a minus 3,000, meaning you have to bet $3,000 to win 1,000, whether the win comes by majority decision, technical decision, knockout, TKO, $3,000 to win 100, okay? Now, the smart bet is going to be the over-under. Because even betting the knockout with Triple G, it's still 600 to win 100. Unless you really feel like he's going to go the distance because of his last performance with Derevchenko. That's a possibility also. If you feel confident enough, I would say slam that bet. For me, it's going to see how many rounds Triple G is going to want to take in to get into his zone. If he's going to try to box a little bit. Is he really chasing a Canelo fight where he wants to establish a jab, start learning how to move around, work his defense a little bit more? We just have to see what kind of Triple G shows up. Now, if it's the aggressive, come forward Triple G, you have to pose that question. Is he too old? Is he too... Where are we at with him? Personally, I feel like the 5.5 rounds, I would give it a shot. It's going to go into the 6th round. I think if he does win, it'll be by knockout. Later in the rounds, maybe 8, 9, 10. But it all depends on what Sermeta comes in with as well. If he comes in and starts landing shots, this fight can drag out a little bit longer. Can he keep the pace, not really going 12 rounds? I don't think he's ever been 12 rounds in his career. So the most he's done... Oh, no, he got 1 unanimous decision, a 12-rounder. But he hasn't really seen 10 rounds too many times. He's seen 10. He's seen 10 quite a few times. But as far as finishing a fight against someone of Triple G's caliber at that level, I would say I don't think he finishes a fight. I think Triple G does get some rounds in. Hopefully he gets them out in the second half of the fight so he can get some movement in, fight off some of that ring rust and get the win. So my pick would be Triple G winning by knockout, obviously. And then I am leaning towards over 5.5 rounds. The fight should make it into the 6th if Sermenta comes in, fires back. If he's just a punching bag, he's going to be out of there quick. Now, there's different ways to bet this. If you bet, you can make multiple bets. You can start actually even guessing what round you guys think he will get him out. Bovada usually has the odds. And yeah, check it out, guys. I do see Triple G winning this fight. He should be getting his hands raised at the end of the fight. What we're going to see is just how and what way he's going to be going about this. I think he's going to get the knockout. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on the above 5.5 rounds. Just enough to get some extra kind of cushion on the bet. But the main thing is going to be him by knockout. It is what it is. Whether it's not a lot of money coming back, I do believe that he gets that knockout. If he doesn't, this isn't a big fight for me to bet on. To me, it's one of those things where 5.5 seems reasonable. The guy is undefeated, a professional. He should be able to hold his own. Should be is one thing. Will he is another. But that's the smart bet, over 5.5 or under 5.5. Choice is yours. A lot of people see it, you know, that it's going to be even under that. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he will fire back. Triple G will take some time to warm up, and then he will last. We'll see. I mean, boxing is very unpredictable, especially with Seremata, who we know little. We haven't seen enough tape of him to really know what we're going to get out of it. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to that he is undefeated. So we'll see how this fight plays out. On to our next fight. Our next fight is tomorrow. It is the Canelo versus Smith. And Bovada has it at a minus 575 or minus 700. The odds are kind of like the Triple G fight where they're one-sided. Now, I will say, as far as mismatches and everything goes, it is a lot closer than the Triple G fight. Whereas if you have to bet $625 to make 100 for a Canelo win, and then a Caleb Smith, I mean, and as far as Triple G, it was over $3,000 or at $3,000 to get some money back. Now, that's because of the class of the opposition. Now, Caleb Smith is the #1 ranked super middleweight. He is going to come in, try to win. It does pose a really high, significant reach advantage. He is 6'3", the tallest fighter that I believe Canelo has fought. He has been fighting people that are taller than him, but at the same time, at what point will size and weight be too much? Personally, Caleb Smith is a very good fighter, but he's not at the level that Canelo is. Canelo should be able to walk him down, get inside his guard, and you know, start digging to the body. The thing I did notice about Caleb Smith is he's a guy that throws back, and he throws back hard. He's a very strong fighter, sometimes a little too strong where he throws his punches stiff. If he's throwing straight punches, you have a shot at catching Canelo coming in. And I mean, he would have to put him away, I would suggest, unless he just drops him multiple times. He is coming to the U.S. soil, so it would be hard for him to get a win, a decision win in Texas. But we've seen things and upsets happen before. I do believe Canelo is en route to unifying the super middleweight titles, so I do see him winning. This one's a tricky one as far as Bovada goes. And let's talk about this one, guys. You have to take into consideration the height reach advantage that you guys will see right now. The thing with me is, how is Canelo going to adapt with that reach advantage? Is he going to be able to, you know, slip inside that jab? Is he going to try to counter? It's going to be hard to counter a jab if he's just trying to keep him away, coming in, catching him with the right hand. It's going to be an interesting fight. Very, very interesting. Now, for me personally, I like Caleb Smith. He's a big, strong guy. But, I mean, it doesn't matter what I think. At the end of the day, it's what does Vegas think, right? Now, for Vegas, Bovada has Canelo. They updated it at a minus 700 to win, meaning he's going to win by either decision, knockout, majority decision, split decision, unanimous, knockout, technical knockout. $700 to win 100, 450 for Caleb Smith. If you bet 100, you'll get 450 back. Now, the over-under rounds are a little off here. They have over-under for every round. Now, just keep in mind, I'm going to read them out to you. The over-under, the main one, is over 10.5 and under 10.5, meaning that's the most even it'll get. So if it goes over 10.5, you need to bet $120 to get 100 back. If it is under 10.5, you need to bet $110 to get 100 back. Now, a little trick with Vegas is the higher the minus. So if it's a minus 150, they're leaning towards the fight going above those amount of rounds. Now, under, the closer it is to being dollar for dollar, the less likely they think it's going to happen. This line has been moving like crazy from week to week, day to day. That's why it took so long to make the video as well. At under 10.5, it is at minus 110. So Vegas thinks that this fight is going to get into the 11th round, or at least past halfway the 10th round. Could be to the height that they saw after the weigh-ins. And trust me, lines change after weigh-ins because people watch the weigh-ins, notice the height advantage. when they're facing off at each other, who stares away first, little things, who seems tense, who seems relaxed, and they make place bets on that. Trust me, it happens all the time, especially in Vegas. Now, total rounds, if you bet over, and this is kind of one where you want to see where you're at. If you think the fight is gonna go, let's say 10 rounds, 11 rounds, depending on the bankroll that we have, over 8.5 rounds is at a minus 200. So you bet 200 to get 100 back. You bet 100, you get 50 back. It's basically you're getting half of the money that you put in. Usually big time bettors usually go with that type of line. It's called an adjusted line, meaning 10 rounds, that's what Vegas thinks. So I'm going to counter that. It can still hit under if it finishes in the 9th and the 10th round, but I'm going to play it safe and say the 8th round, it's going to go over the 8th round. I don't know how it's going to look in the 9th and 10th round. That's kind of like an adjusted line. So keep in mind, however you guys want to bet on this, keep all options open, because to me, it is a very unpredictable fight. He is 6'3", dude is big, he is strong. The thing that I've seen with Canelo is when he likes to dig into the body and come forward, he's very effective as well. If Caleb Smith comes in firing, guns blazing, and Canelo can start catching him and timing him and hitting him with the body, head, that's where it's going to be a problem with Smith. He might even get stopped early if that's the case. But I really just want to see how Caleb Smith is going to adjust to having to fight and adjust to the phone booth style in spurts. You're not going to be able to keep Canelo off of you for the whole fight. So Smith has to know when to fight in spurts on the inside, and then when to angle out and go back to that jab. Stiff 1-2s are going to be his key, but don't leave them out there. You're a taller fighter. You miss with the jab and he slips it and he comes around, you're going to get hit hard. So it's very, very interesting to see what we're going to see like. And then as far as Smith, keep him at the end of that stick. Keep him at the end of that stick. Throw that right hand when it's time, when it's there. It's actually a very exciting fight. It's a contrast in styles. Something that we've seen Canelo do, where when he needs to be the boxer, he can box. When he needs to come forward, he'll come forward. Now, future bets. So let's talk about this. Personally, I think the fight can go the distance, but Vegas still thinks that Canelo wins by KO, TKO, or DQ. It is at a minus 120. Minus 120 means that if you bet 120, you get 100 in return. Canelo by decision, technical decision, any type of decision, plus 155. You bet $100, you get 155 back. Now, considering how close this fight is, as far as the over-under being 10, the decision is very, very enticing. You kind of want to lean towards Canelo winning by decision, but at the same time, Caleb Smith, again, he's the best in his weight class, or one of the best at his weight class, undefeated, strong guy, and has shown spurts. But he won by KO 2 fights ago. His last fight against John Ryder, unanimous decision where he didn't look so good. The guy was 28-4, and he went 12 rounds. But he did go 12 rounds, which is impressive. That's what he's gonna need. He's gonna have to have that win. He also knocked out George Groves in the 7th round. He beat Rocky Fielding in the 1st round, and he actually beat him before, got him out of there faster than what Canelo did. Now, keep in mind, dude is 6'3", he throws hard, he's a big, strong body. Just keep in mind, Canelo, he wants people coming forward, he wants people throwing punches at him, and he is a good boxer, puncher. Now, for me, I'm leaning Canelo by, this is tricky. So I'm going to go ahead and play the lucky 7. All right, the lucky 7. I think Canelo can win after the 7th round by knockout. Early on, it's going to be an adjustment. I do think Canelo can get him out. But because I am a betting man, and you have to bet with up here sometimes, not with your heart, I would do that adjusted line of whatever gives you plus 250. Just because that's where I feel comfortable in the return. So, this is usually something that you can do when, let's see, let me look at the line. So, over 7.5 rounds. So, that's what I would go with. an adjusted line. Um, Canelo by TKO in the late rounds. I would sprinkle something about when the fight would end in the 10 and the 10 through 12 rounds, and then I would sprinkle Canelo by decision. So Canelo by decision, the fight will end in round 10 through 12, and those are all plus numbers, meaning you can split up your bets. Okay, and then I would also sprinkle a little bit something on Canelo winning in round 7, just because I like that number for Canelo. It is at a plus 1100. So go ahead and sprinkle $10 in there and you'll get $110 back. That's just because in fights like this where they're so unpredictable, you need a little bit of lady luck on your side, right? It's easy to say, oh, Canelo's going to blast him. This guy hasn't fought anything. It's easy to say that, but when you're throwing in the money, that's when the curiosity gets the best of you. Now, if I was betting big bucks, this one, holiday season, this is for fun fight. I will say Canelo can get him out in the later rounds, kind of like he did with Kovalev. Smart money says decision. Just sprinkle a little bit on the 7th round, 10-12, and then decision. That's going to be my play. Kind of like playing roulette, hoping one of them hits. But Canelo can get this guy out, especially if he does show signs of not knowing how to keep his distance. This is a very, very tough one, but like everything, what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you guys think Canelo's going to blast them? Do you think Smith is going to pull up the upset? If it is, give me details. Talk to me. Give me what you see. What I see is a guy that's big and strong, is going to be able to take punches. And I feel like he's not as washed as, let's say, a Kovalev was, where he's going to get hit and get folded. I feel like he can take punches well. I think he will, but that's why I think accumulation of punches will wear him down towards the end of the fight, and he can get put away. Okay, so just let's talk about this one. Let's talk about this one, guys, because the ending of this is tough. I do anticipate Canelo being able to win by a late stoppage or lady luck on our side, round 7. But anything's a possibility. I thought he was going to get Kovalev out a little sooner. He got him out in the 12th round. This guy is younger, a little more fresh. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, that's it for the box office. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Canelo by decision, knockout, what round. Can Caleb Smith pull off the upset? Let's talk about Triple G. Triple G should win by knockout. That's what I'm going with. But is it going to go over 5.5 rounds? I hope so. I'm rocking with that. Remember, 1-800-GAMBLING. Let's talk the boxing game, the fight game. Let's throw some money in there, and let's be a part of the action, guys. Take care.